Yo, I'm right back with another one. This is T.Y.M.B's YouTube channel, and we are here, man. Happy Saturday. Today is a Saturday that we are dropping this video, man. And I just wanted to start it off by saying I appreciate the love and support. If you have not done so already, check out that T.Y.M.B paperwork, man. It finally dropped. And the response is going crazy. If you have not seen it already, I just dropped it yesterday, and you don't want to miss that, man. We are back for 2025, and we are dropping paperwork, man. We adding more to the backlog. We adding more to the backlog and adding more to the backlog, man. All right, today I want you to say this, man. Wake up, work out, and work for yourself, man. Wake up, work out, and work for yourself, man. It's going to help you get back on track, man, and put your life in perspective. We're going to aim our targets high, man, and reach our goals and dreams and aspirations, man. So wake up, work out, and work for yourself, man. For the 2025, that is T.Y.M.B's motto, my slogan, man. I support y'all. I support everybody, man, who supports me, man. Shout out to everybody, man. We dropping this paperwork now, man, and this is how we gonna give it up. All right. Today we got none other than T.Y.M.B, man. T.Y.M.B, Lil Chris, man. T.Y.M.B, Lil Chris. Man, we got his paperwork dropping right now. So before we get started, you want to hit that subscribe button and thumb up the video. All right, let's get it, man. So we're gonna jump right into it, man. We got some this is some older paperwork here, man, but I love to just dispel all the rumors and things with actual factual data, man. You know, we getting this information straight from CPD, man. We gonna go through this paperwork extensively, and then we gonna, get down in the comments and talk about it, man. Today we got none other than T.Y.M.B, Lil Chris, man, and we gonna get down into this paperwork. Now we going through some of these files we see. It's just crime scene summary, but I like to get down into the actual paperwork, man, like the actual crime scene reports and things of that nature, man. So let's scroll on down. If you haven't done so already, you want to hit that subscribe button and thumb up the video. We are on the road to 5,000 subs, man. I'm on the road to 5,000 subs. You got to help me get there by hitting that subscribe button. All right, man. So we scrolling down till we get to an actual police report that is not an inventory sheet. Let me see here. Let's get down here. All right, here we go. We got an original case incident report here. The code is 0110, which we know to be a homicide in first degree, man. The occurrence date for this was September 14th, 2010 at 1700 hours on South Drexel, man. We got a victim, Travis Christopher, male black, age 14 at the time, man. These are kids. We got another victim, age 12, and then another victim, age 19, man. This goes back to what I was saying about us, all these kids going crazy, man. They've been doing it. So let's see what the narrative is talking about here. We got, in summary, responding officers responded to 3 people shot at above location B371 related to responding officers that there were 3 male blacks shot at above location B7371. Also stated that a tan unknown make of vehicle had 3 unknown male blacks, and shots were fired from inside that vehicle traveling eastbound. Christopher Travis, the victim, was shot in the head. Redacted, the victim was shot in the left ear and right lower leg. And redacted, the victim was shot in the right knee. Christopher Travis, the victim, was pronounced at 1916 hours at Northwestern Hospital. Redacted, the victim is in critical condition, and redacted victim will be treated and released by redacted in good condition. All right. So now we know somewhat of the narrative surrounding this situation. There were minors involved, so hurt and injured, and one was in critical condition, and so they will redact those names, as we can see here. All right, case supplementary report. This is a cleared open arrest and prosecution document. The number of victims is 3. Number of offenders they believe to be 3. Number of arrested, 1 was arrested in relation to this crime at this time. The date this was submitted was December 4th, 2010. This is a field investigation cleared open arrest prosecution report. All right, we got 3 victims here and 1 listed as the Travis Christopher. All right, we got 1 offender listed here as 1 Cordell Glover, male black, 19 years old. And looking at these ages of these people, of the victims, compared to the age of one of the offenders, already puts me on tilt, man. Look the 14-year-old being killed by a 19-year-old. All right, we got offenders 1, but then we got suspects also, man. I don't see any gang relations listed here. Maybe they did not know at that time. Suspects Devontae or Donvonte Blackamore. All right, and he male black, of course. They don't know the age. All right, and we got the victim's injuries here. Gunshot wound, of course. And then we got a Christopher Travis gunshot wound, and the extent of that was fatal. All right, we're gonna get down to an investigation as we scrolling through. Investigation clear, open a prosecution supplement case report. This report should be read in conjunction with all others submitted in relation to the homicide report under this RD number. As a result of the interviews conducted with witnesses and the 2 previously arrested offenders, which included positive photo array identifications of redacted vehicle used in the drive-by shooting, which resulted in the death of Christopher Travis and a serious injury to redacted gunshot wound to ear lodged in nasal cavity, and redacted gunshot wound lower leg. An investigative alert was issued for redacted. On October 12, 2010, redacted was taken into custody on the probable cause to arrest alert issued under this number listed. Redacted was taken into custody by Great Lakes Fugitive Apprehension Task Force and transported to Area 2 offices where he was processed for arrest and placed under ERI. Initially, Redacted invoked his right to remain silent and to counsel. Redacted later re-initiated, stating that he wanted to tell his story. At 1500 hours, Redacted was advised of his rights per Miranda, at which time he agreed to speak with reporting detective and Detective S. Colvin. Redacted gave the following account of the events from September 14th, 2010. This is a long time ago, which is a synopsis, not a word-for-word recount. Redacted stated that he was on the 6500 block of Eberhard hustling when he was approached by Cordell Glover, who he referred to as Wee Wee. Redacted stated that Wee Wee approached and asked him to drive him over to 71st and Bishop to pick up some clothes, for which he paid Redacted $20 U.S. currency for gas. Redacted went on to say that when they got into Redacted's car, they were joined by another male black known to Redacted as Don. Redacted said that Don got into the rear seat and that he, Redacted, was the driver and that Wee Wee was in the front passenger seat. Redacted stated that the group drove off east on 65th Street towards Cottage Grove and headed south when Wee Wee said that he wanted to get something to eat. Redacted stated that he suggested a location on Cottage Grove, but Wee Wee Glover told him to go down Drexel. Redacted that he refused, telling Glover that they will kill us if we go down there. Redacted said that Don, who was seated in the back seat, then produced a dark-colored revolver and laid it on the armrest between him and Glover and told Redacted, "It's going to be like this." Glover then told Redacted to go over to Drexel and then directed his route. Redacted related that when they arrived on the block of Drexel, they saw a group in the middle of the block and another on the far end of the block. Redacted related that when he got to the far end of the block, Wee Wee also produced a dark-colored handgun and stuck it in the passenger side window and stated, "It's their time," and started shooting into the group on the corner. Redacted stated that he continued driving and then turned the corner, headed to the staggered block of Drexel to continue north when Wee Wee said, "Stop this MFer." And when, oh, excuse me, and Wee Wee, turns to Don and said, "PMFer, why didn't you shoot?" Don replied, "Because the effing windows were locked." Redacted had related earlier in his statement that he held the buttons for the rear windows to prevent them from going down, but that Wee Wee already had his front window open before they arrived on the block. Redacted related that after Don and Wee Wee jumped out of the car, he sped off and went back towards Eberhard. As a result of the statements provided by Redacted, the additional witnesses, ASA Olsen advised that the suspect be released without charging, and the investigation continued. Wow. All right, so next document we have is a progress lineup document, and this is usually a photo array where they present this, the photos to the individuals, and will point them out based on if they recognize who they see in those photos. All right, so we're going to get down to some of this information here. Location of the lineup. Persons conducting the lineup. Persons viewing the lineup is a male 19-year-old. All right. Persons participating. They have 4 images. The last one, number 4, is this Cordell Glover, at 19 years old. The person identified was a Cordell Glover, a 19-year-old. Person identifying this individual here. All right. We got another progress lineup document. Get down, so we know already that one person pointed out this Cordell Glover individual, so we're going to see who they are going to be showing to these witnesses next. All right, we got the victim's names, Lil Chris from T.Y.M.B, Lil Chris, and we got persons viewing. We have a female 143 and a female 35-year-old. Persons participating, they got 6 people this time, and Cordell Glover, and the person identified, Cordell Glover. And these 2 females, 43 and 35, identify Cordell Glover in this scenario in the death of Lil Chris from T.Y.M.B. All right, we got another progress lineup document here. Let's get down to this. They got witnesses they showing these pictures to, because apparently based on the narrative and the document we just read, the individuals pulled up in a car, right? So anytime there's a car, there's someone who can see that car, right? Let's see what we got here. We got the victim's name, of course, is Lil Chris, and we got persons participating. Now they added this Devontae Blackamore, male 118, 5'3". All right, person identifying is a 12-year-old kid, man. 12-year-old kid identified this Devontae Blackamore, man. Maybe this was one of those victims. All right. So going down, we got another progress lineup document, man. They're showing all these pictures to witnesses or victims, I would say. All right. So we getting busy here. We getting down to this information. If you haven't done so, hit that subscribe button and thumb up this video, man. You're not going to get this information nowhere else. Just thumb the video up and subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. All right, the lineup is here. We got persons viewing. We got an 18-year-old and then another 12-year-old male. And they both, persons identified, persons participating, excuse me, is a 4-person lineup. And they have Devontae Blackamore as the number 1. And these 2 individuals could not identify anyone. All right. What we have here is a report investigation. Seems to be some gang enforcement unit. Reported by some police officer, a cross file and related files. They got number 1, All About Money. Number 2, Kill Award. Number 3, EBT Eberhard Boys. Number 4, STL St. Lawrence Boys. Drove City Young Money. All right. Area 2 Gang Safety School Safety Team were advised of a gang conflict pertaining to redacted and non-students located at South Stony Island. Reporting officers relocated to the high school and met with Redacted High School Administrator CPD assigned to Redacted High School and a few subjects directly involved in the above gang conflict. With the assistance of CPD, Redacted High School Principal and Redacted Assistant Principal, Redacted responding officers were able to assist in identifying of numerous gang members, gang affiliations of most subjects, and IR numbers of all parties involved. School administration advised reporting officers that most of the conflict occur outside of the school perimeters. Redacted advising responding officers that listed gangs are in conflict due to the homicide of Miller Dalvin, male 114, occurring on September 14, 2007, under ID number listed here. Redacted further advising that the bulk of the groups all attended elementary school together or resided within blocks of one another, but upon the homicide of Miller, a conflict arose amongst neighboring blocks, segregating into smaller groups within mainly the Redacted street gang. Redacted further relating that Redacted all held Redacted responsible for the homicide of Miller. Additionally, subject male 114 is Redacted of homicide victim Miller. Redacted relating that Redacted's homicide was accidental. Redacted was shooting at a rival gang, accidentally shot and killed Miller. Since the homicide of Miller, listed gangs have been in strong gang conflict with one another. Alright, and we got another report here. During today's September 15, 2010 roll call briefing, it was learned that the subject identified as Redacted was being sought for interview regarding a homicide in which Redacted. It was learned Area 2 detectives sought to question him further regarding his knowledge of the incident. In response to the homicide, the Redacted team was assigned to the area surrounding the above homicide for enforcement and fact-finding purposes. While on patrol, members of the Redacted team observed several males loitering on the corner of 6500 South Drexel, the scene of the homicide, and approached same for interview. As officers approached, several of the teens dispersed. However, Redacted was recognized and asked if he would speak to the officers. Redacted agreed, and Area 2 was contacted for instructions on how to proceed. Learning that Redacted was willing to speak but unwilling to relocate, Area 2 dispatched Detective Hightower, who responded to the scene and interviewed Redacted in the company of Redacted, where a male black 18 and a male black 21. Alright, and we have, I guess this is a document outlining the contact of the initial, I guess, meeting between these two detectives is documented here, and they outline, I guess, what they had on and so forth. All right. Responding officers had the opportunity to conduct an interview with Redacted, is Redacted member and a strong rival of Redacted, also corroborating Redacted explanation regarding the division amongst all gangs involved. Redacted further related that tension has increased after the homicide of Redacted, who was affiliated Redacted, relating that Redacted homicide was in retaliation of Miller's homicide. Responding officers was only able to identify Redacted at this point. P.O. Blakely and Scott are familiar with the above homicide and additional investigation to be conducted. Alright, Redacted both promising to cease gang activity and report additional outbreaks to CPS. Both subjects advised responding officers that they would try to influence their associates to cease the violence. Redacted further relating that a subject known only to Redacted as Redacted would be influential in ceasing the violence. Redacted is described as a male 124 to 25 who frequents the area of 63rd and Cottage Grove. Redacted has some rank within Redacted, and the younger members will listen to Redacted. Sergeant Bordeaux toward area of 63rd and Cottage Grove in search of subject. Responding officers also checked CPD data warehouse with numerous subjects matching above description. Investigation to continue. Today's date marks the 3-year anniversary of Redacted's homicide. Alright, and it seems that they have all of these gang members that were involved in this were at a school as they were younger kids. Let's see here, we have a document. This may be the ASA, maybe a long shot, but a cream colored vehicle with 4 to 5 occupants was stopped yesterday outside of redacted today at dismissal. Vehicle Dodge Magnum 4-door Illinois plates with 4 occupants. All right. And let's see. So they did spot a vehicle that they thought was suspicious. It seems at a school. And they say, yes, small additional information offending vehicle, possibly a cream-colored Lincoln that was occupied by 4 male blacks. All right. And we know that. That's like a copy of the last one. Gang and members conflicts identified. So they're listing all these members in gang affiliations within the high school. And same here. All right, now we're getting down to the clear, close, and arrest and prosecution document. All right, and we got, let's see, this was on December 21st, 2010. All right, and we got, of course, little Chris here. He's a juvenile at the time. And the offenders are 19 years of age, and they still do not know how old this Devontae is. Devontae. All right, we're going to get down into the investigation here. We have Lil Chris, and they list his gang affiliation, but it's redacted. The other victim was a 12-year-old, which his gang affiliation is redacted. And another victim is a 19-year-old, and his information, gang affiliation, is redacted as well. We have Devontae Blackamore, who they had in custody at this time. He's an 18-year-old. And now we have some injuries listed for Lil Chris. And the second and third individuals, wounds and gunshots. So gunshot wound to the head for Lil Chris. A gunshot wound to the ear lodged in the nasal cavity for this 12-year-old kid, man. And a gunshot wound to the leg, treated and released. All right, now we get into the investigation. This report is to be read in conjunction with all others submitted in relation to this event. Devontae Blackamore was rearrested as a result of additional interviews which provided additional evidence connecting him to the murder of Christopher Travis and the shooting of redacted. Subsequent release provided vital information related to the case. Redacted identified himself. Redacted also identified Blackamore as being in the vehicle with a weapon. Based on information provided by Redacted, investigative alert was issued for Devontae Blackamore, who was later taken into custody on November 10, 2010 by Great Lakes Fugitive Apprehension Section and transported to the Area 2 Detective Division. At 2100 hours, a lawyer arrived in the Area 2 offices relating that he represented Devontae Blackamore. The attorney was allowed to confer with Blackamore at 2114 hours, requested that reporting detectives advise Blackamore of his rights per Miranda in his presence. After being advised of his rights, Blackamore, under the advice of counsel, invoked the rights and refused to give additional statements beyond those he had given at the time of his previous arrest. Reporting detective then consulted with Cook County State's Attorney's Office and was advised to contact the witness who had yet to see a lineup which included Blackamore. Witnesses, redacted, and redacted, were each presented separate lineups, and each of the witnesses were able to identify Devontae Blackamore as the offender each had described in their statements to reporting detectives during their prior interviews. As a result of previously conducted interviews and lineups which were conducted over the period of Blackamore's second arrest, charges of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder were approved by the ASA at 13:53 hours on November 12, 2010. The reporting detective requests that this case be closed by arrest and prosecution. So there we have it. They were able to identify Devontae as the shooter and charged him with first-degree murder in the first degree, which shows the intent to want to kill. So September 21st, 2010, this is a progress report listed for the homicide of Lil Chris, and we're just going to get down to any additional information that we may see here. Okay, as a result of the interviews conducted with witnesses and positive photo arrays, reporting detectives have requested an investigative alert for the offender, Davonte Blackamore, male 118. Reporting detective has further discovered that the second offender, Glover Cordell, has been taken into custody on an IDOC warrant. As a result, reporting detective will seek to writ Glover out of Cook County Jail to continue the investigation. Wow, that's news there. Y'all get down in the comments and let me know what y'all think about the detectives seeking to writ Glover out of jail so that they can continue the homicide investigation, man. All right, we're getting down into some handwritten documents here, and we'll just scroll down until we can see anything any new information. We have another clear closed arrest and prosecution. This may be for the second offender here. Let's get down to the investigation to see what exactly that is. All right, so today we have, right now we got some new information. Lil Chris here and his gang affiliation is listed as a BD from the Young Money faction, which is interesting. And we got additional victim, male 112, and they list his gang affiliation as Young Money as well. And then we have this 19-year-old black disciple from Young Money also. All right. Not sure if, CPD is getting these wrong here, but we know T.Y.M.B. We know the why. So, all right. In custody, Blackamore, Davonte, they had there. His gang affiliation is still redacted here. All right, we know the injuries. All right, we got manner and motive, a gunshot wound, possibly retaliation related to a 2009 homicide. All right. Let's see, we got this report should be read in conjunction with all others submitted in relation to this event. Davonte Blackamore was rearrested as a result of additional interviews, in which we know that information already. Based on information provided, redacted investigative alert was issued for Davonte Blackamore, who was later taken into custody on November 10th, right? And we know that. And they pointed him out. Yeah, so they charged Davonte with this homicide, man, for little Chris, T.Y.M.B. little Chris. And we trying to get down to any new information that we may see. We got a cleared open arrest and prosecution. Let's see if we can find something that we haven't read already in this. All right. And we know that, all right, this is reiterating the same story about Wee and the $20 for gas. And, it's going to be like this, he said. All right. And we scrolling through. If you haven't done so already at this point, you want to hit that subscribe button and thumb up the video, as I am dropping paperwork. I'm dropping it, and just dropping it, bro. We're not wasting no time, man. We're not wasting no time at all. So here we got another lineup of a document here. So what we're seeing here is, man, they really utilize the photo lineups and things of that nature to point these people out. And even in this case here, they put both suspects within the same photo array, and they identified one individual and not the other. All right, and getting down a little bit further, and they do the same thing again. For this male 112, and he identified Davonte. All right, so You know, if it was any question, man, you know, these people that are involved in these homicides, they were kids, man, and they do tell, like, they cooperate with the police to convict these people, man. Like Devontae, you know, the kid said he didn't want to go slide, and they hop out, you know what I mean, and he got caught up in this, and of course, what he's gonna do, he's a kid, he's gonna cooperate, man. All right, we got another photo lineup. So see, these are all photo lineups, man. The above subject positively identified as one of the offenders who was involved in the drive-by shooting resulting in the death of Christopher Travis, man. See, so there you go. They were able to utilize this male 119 POS for Blackamore, and they put them in different sections of the lineups, you know, to allow certainty of who did what. All right. And so, man, we're getting down to the bottom of this, man. So, as of now, we know who the individuals were that were charged and arrested for the homicide of T.Y.M.B. Lil Chris, man. A lot of progress reports here. I'll scroll down to see if we can get to any new information here. We got inventory sheets. Let's see if I can scroll past any of this information. Alright, evidence sheets, evidence documents, crime scene recoveries, fire bullet. They had the bullet from the scene, so they hopped out just spraying, and you can see they got the lineups and they identified these individuals. Alright. Alright, we getting down to almost the end of it. Alright. See, and at this point they have it listed as unknown affiliation. So I don't, you know, that Young Money affiliation that we saw earlier for T.Y.M.B. Lil Chris might not have been right. Yep, and then we have that narrative here that outlines that Devontae Blackmore was rearrested, and then he was charged with 1 count of first-degree murder and 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder. So he was through, man. Through, man. All right, we got the autopsy report here, man, for T.Y.M.B. Lil Chris, man. May rest in peace, man. And we can see here, man, he caught one right to the temple, man. Y'all get down in the comments and let me know what y'all think about this, man. 19-year-olds hopping out on 14-year-olds and shooting them in the head is crazy work, man. Y'all get down in the comments and let me know what y'all think, man. I believe we getting down to the bottom of this document. And we got some criminal history reports for one Cordell Glover. Murder, if he was charged with murder in the first degree. And ag battery, man. So serious charges, man. Serious charges. At any point in time, y'all feel free to stop the video, pause the video, and, you know, gather your information or reread some of this document that, you know, that we releasing here. All right, we got Cordell Glover here and an image of him. All right. And we scrolling down. This is the arrest report for those individuals. And we got a bunch of redacted information because they were minors here, man. And that brings us down to the last page of the last page, man. This has been T.Y.M.B's presentation, man. This is the #1 Foia channel on YouTube. You definitely don't want to miss any documents that I'm dropping. So turn your notifications on. And I gotta say this before we go, man. The #1 slogan for this channel for 2025 is to wake up, work out, and work for yourself, man. You know, stay away from negative influences, man. Keep your kids away from these older guys that is manipulating them and corrupting their mind with a bunch of evil, trying to get them to go spin and all this, man. Get down in the comments and let me know what y'all think about T.Y.M.B. Lil Chris, man. We just dropped his paperwork and we see who did what and what is what, man. So Salute to everybody that's rocking out with me. Salute to everybody that's subscribed thus far. We out.